Stream started, Chair.
That's recording started, Chair.
Thank you. The next item on today's agenda is item number 7, the naming of the new registered early years setting located in the refurbished infant building at St Andrews Primary School, Fraserburgh. And in attendance today, we have Julia Matthews, our Quality Improvement Manager. Julia, could you present the paper, please?
Yes, thank you. So we're asking that you would approve a setting name which you feel most appropriate from the most popular 5 names provided by the school and wider community engagement for the new registered early years setting within the old infant building at St Andrews Primary School. Just wanted to clarify something, that the naming is only for the registered early learning and childcare setting, the one that is registered with the care inspectorate, and not the building as a whole, which also includes P1 who were not part of that registration. And there was a little bit of confusion, I think, around it, although we did try to explain in the process what we were doing. I think it's still sometimes quite difficult. You know, I understand what I'm talking about because I'm doing it every day, and it's not always clear to everybody else what we're doing. But we did a staged process, which I came to speak to you about prior to the the paper coming to you. So first of all, we were asking the community for suggestions of names, and we got 147 names, would you believe? What we then did is we reduced those names, and we ended up with 8 in total. And how we reduced them was we looked for the names, the most popular names, and any name that got 2 or more suggestions was put forward in that list of 8. So those 8 are in order of preference at that point were Fraserburgh Central ELC, Central ELC, Little Brockers ELC, Brockbends ELC, the Brock ELC, Little Tides ELC, Kinnaird ELC, and Glover ELC. And the top 2, Fraserburgh Central ELC and Central ELC, they had 22.4% and 19% of the vote in total. Little Brockers 18, and then Brockbends 13, the Brock 9, Little Tides 8, Kinnaird 14, and Glover 1%. So what we then did is we put those names back out for voting this time. We weren't sure whether we would get a similar result. Obviously, we put them just the top 5. So that was Fraserburgh Central, Central ELC, Little Brockers ELC, Brockbends ELC, and the Brock ELC. And actually, the voting was pretty similar, although we were, we did have more people voting for those 5, but actually the percentages remained the same, similar or the same. So Fraserburgh Central went up a little bit with 26%, Central ELC 24%, Little Brockers 22%, Brockbends 17%, and the Brock 11%. So what I would like to ask you today is, if you are, well, you can tell me how you want to make the decision, but you will see there that Fraserburgh Central was the most popular. Fraserburgh Central and Central ELC, those 2 similar, most popular overall between them. And it's whether you want to make a decision as a group from one of those names and not the top ones, or whether you want to endorse and approve that Fraserburgh Central ELC as the final name. Thank you.
Thank you. So just for clarification, are we speaking Fraserburgh Central ELC at St Andrews?
Yes, everything is at St Andrews. So there's that clarification of where it is, but it's to make it so it's an understanding that it's not actually, it's a registered setting, which is not the school setting, if that makes sense, because it's slightly different.
Okay, we'll have to get you up here so that you can say Broch.
Sorry, I know. My husband's from Afford, so he tells me all the time how to say things like loch and things like that. So I do try my best. So sorry about that.
Okay, thank you very much, Julia. Quite a lot of suggestions then. How many did you say in total?
was 147 names. Some of them were very similar. You know, they were very similar, but 147 in total. So we were really astounded at the names. But I suppose that's the creative nature, isn't it, of your communities? Really, the things that mean stuff to them.
I visited the setting last week, and I have to say it's a fabulous transformation. It really is. It's a beautiful old building outside, but inside it is a fabulous, up-to-date new building, which has retained some of the features but updated them. So they took the parquet flooring and they have renewed it, as in they took all the old, years and years and years of old varnish and polish off. It looks brilliant, and the wood paneling on the walls has been painted. It really is fabulous, and it was done on time, so well done to all. I'll bring in Councillor Sutherland.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it's a great. It's going to be a great asset to town, and it's good to get the opportunity to discuss the name and that. I'm quite surprised that the word infant didn't come up, because that building was known like that for many generations, and I'm quite surprised it didn't appear in the top 5. But certainly, I think the top one, Fraserburgh Central ELC, stands out to me as being something that's a good name for the and I'm not surprised it came out at top. Just a little surprised that the word infant didn't appear in some of the top 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a reason, Julia, Councillor Sutherland, is there a reason, Julia, why the infant part? I seem to recall something about that.
Yes, there is. So I think I do think that where infant was suggested, it was where people thought it was for the whole building, and it's really important to note it's got to be related to the age of the children that the setting is registered for. So I think, and the confusing thing about infant is it's been used historically and in different ways as well. So infant is used by NHS for very young children, babies. Infant was a term that was used for schools, which was 3 to 7, and registered settings, early years settings, are usually, I mean, we obviously don't have anything under 2 at the moment. I know the Scottish Government would like us to expand in younger children, but our age range is 3 to 5, 2 to 5. So it was important that it reflected that, rather than, and the building, it can still be called, the building style can still be referred to as infant, but it's not a term that is currently used in education. So that's why that hasn't been included.
I'm glad, because
yeah.
That was the explanation I had given to somebody, so I'm glad that that's
Good.
been confirmed. Right,
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Julia. And I'm sorry I missed the visit with Councillor Mayor. But I agree with Councillor Sutherland. If Central is the top one, then I think we go with that. I was surprised too that infant wasn't, but now we know why. But no, I'm happy with the first choice.
Thank you. I too would like the Fraserburgh Central, because it anchors it in Fraserburgh, because there is or was a central school in Peterhead as well. So, and I'm sure there are in other towns. So just in, anchoring that as being in Fraserburgh, I would be happy to go with the top choice. Would any of my other Banff and Buchan councillors like to add anything? No.
No,
Okay.
no, thank you, Chair. Local matter, you know best. So, saying that politely. So, thank you.
I wouldn't say I always know best, Councillor Cox, but maybe in this matter the local councillors do. Right, Julia, I think we would like then to go with Fraserburgh Central ELC at St Andrews.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for your time today. I know they'll be pleased. We'll get the sign made now and be able to change that name with the care inspectorate. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. Okay, the next item on today's agenda is item number 8, which is the Banff and Buchan Crown Estates Coastal Communities Fund for 25-26, allocation 7, second tranche funding allocations, and I have our area manager, Angela, presenting today's paper, please.
Good morning again, Chair. Yes, so the paper before you highlights the allocation of Scottish Government Crown Estate money for 25-26. This is our 7th allocation of funding. Members will remember that we were allocated £118,961 and 3p to be precise. And at the beginning of the year, we allocated 50,000 of that for 2 feasibility studies, whilst the remainder was to be allocated to community groups. So earlier this year in May, we allocated £35,214 and 28p, which left us with £33,746 and 75p for distribution. Over the summer, 9 applications were received, 7 of which were determined as meeting the criteria and were allocated funded across all 7 projects, £23,226.63p. These offered a wide and diverse range of valuable projects across the Banff and Buchan area, and you'll see that broken down in Appendix 1 of your report today. So this left us a budget of £10,520 and 12p. At the same time, Sandend Harbour Trust unfortunately had to hand back their allocation of £5,000 for the upgrade of harbour equipment. So our balance that we have for final distribution today is £15,520 and 12p. I'm therefore recommending to the committee that we progress to another tranche, with the applications being invited after committee today with a closing date of the 27th of September, with a proposal to come back at the 27th of October outlining the applications received and the funding allocated. As previously, I'm seeking delegation just to allow that quick determination and allocation of the funding, which gives applicants the most available time to be able to complete their project by the March 27 deadline. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, committee. Do you have any questions for Angela?
This is sorry.
Councillor
Sorry.
Reynolds.
I didn't put my hand up. Sorry. So Angela, will this be circulated around community councils and such like? Yeah.
Absolutely, Councillor Reynolds. Will apply the same approach as we've done previously. We will have direct contact with all our community councils, community associations and known groups across the Banff and Buchan area. We'll obviously utilise our social media and our corporate comms as mechanisms for making sure that the availability of the fund is widely circulated.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Menard.
Yeah, sorry, Angela, I didn't get the amount that's going to be available. Could you just reiterate that, please?
Yes, £15,520 and 12p.
And the 12p. Thank you.
Exactly.
And Councillor Bell.
Just to say, I'm happy to support the area manager's suggestion.
Okay, so page 79, committee, we are being asked to note the relation to the second tranche of funding, the applications were received, agree the remaining budget be allocated through a tranche of funding with a closing date of 27th and 26th, agree the authority to determine the allocation of the remaining funds be delegated to the Banff and Buchan area manager in consultation with chair, vice chair and opposition spokesperson, and note the report will come back to the BBAC on the 27th of October. Committee, do we agree the recommendations?
Agree.
Thank you very much. The next item on today's agenda is item number 9, which is the Banff and Buchan Area Committee Budget 26-27. And again, Angela is presenting this paper.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So the Banff and Buchan Area Committee budget was £17,800 this year. The Area Committee agreed to distribute these funds as community grants with delegation to myself in consultation with Chair, Vice Chair and Opposition to decide the allocations of the funds across the summer recess period. This resulted in 5 successful applications coming in, and we distributed £11,191.96 of the available budget. This leaves us with £6,608.04, and I'm suggesting that we go live with a second tranche of funding in a similar way as we'll administer the Crown Estates, with a closing date of the 27th of September, with a report subsequently coming back to Area Committee on the 27th of October. And again, just to allow that quick decision making and give the groups the most available time to complete their projects and commit the money, I am seeking delegation for this fund. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Angela. Committee, do you have any questions for Angela? I see no questions. Okay, under page 91, the committee are being recommended to note the agreed allocation of funding as set out within the report, agree that the remaining budget be allocated through a second tranche of funding with a closing date of 27th September, and that authority to determine the allocation of funds be delegated to the Banff and Buchan area manager in consultation with the Chair, Vice Chair and Opposition spokesperson, and note that the report will come back to the BBAC on the 27th of October. Committee, do we agree the recommendations?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'd just like to thank Angela and her team for all the work that they do on these funding allocations. They have a really positive impact on our communities, helping to deliver projects through the whole area. And to be honest, that they wouldn't be able to happen without your hard work and your team's hard work. So thank you very much, Angela. The next item on today's agenda is item number 10, which is the lease of land at Corn Road in Veralachy. We have Pamela Singer, the team leader from Property and Facilities, presenting the paper today. Good morning, Pamela.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. So I'm here today to present my report on land at Corn Road in Veralachy and seek the committee's support for a recommendation to lease the land to Invercairn Vision for Empowering Recreation and Sport, better known and certainly more easily pronounced as Inversport. At present, the basic facility is primarily used by 2 local football clubs, Invercairn United Amateur Football Club, which is used by approximately 30 to 40 adults for weekly training session and all league matches. And it's also used by Invercairn Juniors, involving around 100 primary school aged children. It's also used by them for football festivals throughout the year, and by Invercairn Gala, and also on an ad hoc basis by the local primary school. On completion, the proposed project, the new facility will significantly be used more for community use. This will include continued use by the football clubs, more regular use by Inveralachy Primary School, greater use during Invercairn Gala, and wider community use for clubs and classes. Importantly, the facility will also provide a resilience hub, offering shelter and a warm space for the community during winter power outages. This will be supported by energy efficient features that will be incorporated into the new facility. In order to secure the grant funding required to deliver the project, a 25-year lease is proposed, and as this is out with the scope of the officer's scheme of delegation, committee approval is therefore required. I am therefore asking the committee to support the proposed 25-year lease to Inversport, which will enable them to secure the necessary funding and deliver a facility that provides significant wider community benefits. So I therefore welcome your comments, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela, and thanks for your work in this. Invercairn, the villages of Inverallie and Cairnbulg are a fabulous unit, I think it's fair to say, and they deliver projects time and time and time again, and they deliver for their community. So I have absolutely no problem with this lease being granted, and I think it'll enable them to do much more in the future. I will bring in Councillor Bell, followed by Councillor Sutherland.
Totally agree with everything you said, Chair, and I, like you, I'm fully supportive of this. This will enhance the facilities already and will be used, we all know, continuously.
Thank you. And Councillor Sutherland.
Yes, just want to echo two fellow councillors. Great opportunity for them, and really encouraging to see this go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Minard.
Yeah, thoroughly support this. And also it looks like it's going to improve the resilience for the local area, should anything, power outages and everything else. So yeah, 100% support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Minard. Okay, I see no further comments. Committee, we are being asked on page 98 of the report today to approve the lease of land at Corn Road in Inverallie, shown on Appendix 1, and the terms detailed in Section 3.3, and delegate the authority to the Head of Legal and People, following consultation with the Head of Property and Facilities Management, to agree the detailed terms and conditions of the lease in respect of 1.2.1 above. Committee, do we agree?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you. I can now confirm that the public section of the meeting has concluded and that the recording will be stopped. Thank you for your interest in the business today. Members of the committee will now go on to consider exempt or confidential business without the press and public present. Pamela, thank you for coming along today and presenting the report. And Emma, could you stop the recording? And Heather, could you stop the live stream, please?
Thank you.